Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. All right, welcome in to this week's episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Today, we have Anthony Aldridge with us. I invited him on the show because I really liked his first name. But now, Anthony is a great coach. He's been in the coaching world for quite a while now. He recently transitioned to online, but I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, so I'm Anthony Aldridge. I live in Chicago. A little bit about me. I've been married for 6 years. I have 4-year-old twin boys, Zayden and Elias. My wife is Sierra. I've been in the coaching world, for quite a while in person, and I just transitioned into online training. A little bit of my background, my degrees in sports and sports science. I was an athletic trainer, still am. So I do that as well, working with the general population for health, injury prevention, ergonomics. But then I decided to dive into the venture of helping people at a point in time when I needed to, I wanted to just start utilizing my skills for people that I worked with and that I saw on a daily basis. And my friends kept asking me questions. And so there was a point in time when I dove into online or personal training in person about 6 or 8 years ago. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with people, seeing them get their progress, seeing them make their goals. And so then as the years went on, I started picking and choosing who I wanted to work with in person, because as you all know, it's a little time consuming. When you work with somebody in person, your time is valuable and your time happens to be whatever their time is. And so I started to notice I was spending 10 and 12 hours in the gym because of that was the nature of the beast. And so then I decided I was going to go back into just the traditional athletic training world, but I would still continue to work with people that I chose to work with. And so I started to still personal train, but I did it as a hobby, and I did it because I wanted to help the people who wanted help. And then I just recently, like I said, transitioned to expanding that into an online form, because there still were getting people that wanted help, but they didn't live in the city with me, right? And so I was able to come up with this idea and this plan, because a lot of the people that I talk with that I know, they always said, and they always had the words that they always use were, I just don't have time. How do you do it? And I kind of didn't understand before I got married, and then before I had kids. I was so I would give them almost the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I don't know that lifestyle, so I'm going to just take your word for it. And then I got married and I was able to do it. And then I had twins and I was able to do it. And I was like, okay, well, if I can do it and I still have a full-time job and I'm still, have, my twins' life and my wife's life, my wife works full-time. Then let's figure out what I'm doing, put it in a plan and a program, and then give it to other dads that are super busy. Again, traveling, whether it be at home, whether they in the office or they work at home. Let's figure out how we can help them get on that same plan. And so then I came up with this plan called the 4x4 Father Figure Method. And essentially it's 4 workouts a day or 4 workouts a week, anywhere between 30 to 45 minute sessions. So you're in and out of the gym. Literally for me, my workout is exactly 30 minutes to 35 minutes. So if you take out the travel time to and from the gym, whatever, your actual workout, 30 minutes, you're in and you're out. And so that leaves you the ability to get a workout in, a quality workout in, get home or do whatever you need to do with your family, and you don't lose any what I consider quality family time. So you're going to get your energy back. You're going to lose that belly fat. You're going to regain that energy, but you're not going to lose any family time. So I still get home, anywhere between 5 and 6 I watch my boys during the week. We have weekends where we actually have fun. We do things together. I involve my boys. I involve my wife in the whole process. And I'm teaching other dads how to do that and still be able to take care of themselves. Because my motto is, if I'm not healthy and happy, then no one's going to be healthy and happy. And if I'm not here to be around for my boys because I didn't take care of myself, then no one else is going to. And so that's how I look at my health and my relationship with working out, with food, and then also teaching them like healthy habits, right? And so like if I'm not going to model it as a dad for my kids, then I can't expect them to actually follow suit and have that same goal, background, and or like drive to like stay healthy, work out, be active, eat right, all the things that we talk about as fitness experts. You know, if we're not modeling it, then how can we pass that along? It's almost like when you hire someone, like if they don't look the part, they may have all the knowledge in the world. And a lot of athletic trainers and a lot of trainers have great knowledge, but if they're not following their own knowledge and they don't look the part, or at least semi look the part, it's really hard to get on board with a lot of them. I've noticed that, and I've heard that quite a bit, even in my other jobs that I've done when I work with people. And I've had coworkers who did not look the part, but were telling people how to do this. It's almost like a doctor telling you not to smoke, and then 15 minutes later you see him out chain smoking, right? Like, do I really want to follow your advice? Probably not. So that's a little bit, I just rambled a lot right there.
No, that was good. No, but I think what you said there about, you were working like 10, 12 hours a day in the gym yourself. And so you created a plan that not only you could stick to, but that your clients could stick to too. And just, going through and just kind of modeling that for your kids, I think is great. Kind of like what you said there. If you can tell your kids one thing, right, but if you're not following that advice, eventually,
Right.
when they're little, they may listen to you. As they get a little older, they're gonna start to question, Dad's not doing this, and
Right.
so having them be able to see you. And you mentioned, so like you said, the 4x4 method. Is that
Father,
correct?
father
Yeah.
figure method.
Okay, so 4x4 father figure method. Now, with those workouts, so say somebody is already putting in 60 hours at work each week,
Yep.
right? Um, is that pretty customizable? Do a lot of your clients still go to the gym, or do a lot of them get this done at home? You mentioned that kind of the family's involved in it. So how is that kind of set up?
Yeah, so the way that it's set up is like they do go to the gym for the most part.
Okay.
It is customizable, but there is a base. So I have a set plan that I've created that is base that everyone starts with.
Mhm.
And as you become on board and you get on board, I have you look at your schedule. I have you write out your ideal schedule. I have you write out kind of what your days look like. If you travel, I have you write out like what your travel day looks like, what your on the road day looks like. If you're at home, if you work from home, I have you write out like what your work schedule is like. And then as I do that, we go through and look at, okay, so where's some gaps? Where's some times where you can have 30 minutes to go to the gym, or have, maybe 45 minutes if you want to include travel time. Where's your gym located? And how we can like incorporate that workout that's needed into the week. Again, the workouts are only 4 days a week. So you are able to divide that up however you are able to with your workout schedule and with your work schedule. What I help people do is look at their schedule and find out, where's that gap? Where's that little bit of time? Can we condense here? Where can we open up here? Where can we be flexible, right? Because there's a lot of times when just we need, as dads, as parents, you need flexibility in your schedule. For kid gets sick, you're not going to work, or schedules change, and so now the game is at 5 instead of at 7, and so like now we need to flip things around and make adjustments. And so most of the workouts are, like I said, at home or in the gym. But then when we find that time in that schedule, what's the best thing about the program is that like it's written out for you. So every day, all 4 days are written out for you, step by step, timed, and the exercises. So the thinking aspect of it, which what kills most people in the gym, is already done for you. So all you have to do is follow the plan. Most people, when they're in the gym, the reason why they're in there for, an hour and a half, or 2 hours is because they don't know what to do, right?
Right.
So they're thinking about, all right, well, what do I want to do today? I want to do legs. Okay, well, what kind of leg exercise do I want? I have all these options. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. But as they're like, well, what do I want to do next? Well, what do I want to do next? Or they're going to the gym at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is like prime time, right? Or they're
Right.
going at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is again prime time. So now they're looking at like, now I'm sitting around waiting for workouts, waiting for equipment. How can I make this more efficient for me? We talk about gym times. We talk about what to do in place of. So if, say, your time to go to the gym is at 5 o'clock, all right, so let's see what kind of circuits or plans or programs we can do where you don't need like 5 different exercises or 5 different pieces of equipment. You can get everything done in one little circuit, in one little section. And then we try to work on as far as like where and how, and then again timing. So like, are you spending 2 minutes of rest time, or are you spending 30 seconds of rest time? Because that's going to, 2 minutes every 4 sets for 6 exercises, that's an extra half an hour that you could have been out of the gym, when that rest time typically only needs about 35 to 60 seconds of rest. So I teach them, bring a watch, bring a stopwatch. When you're finished with your set, start your watch. When you're done with your set, end your watch, start your watch every time. Between transition, start your watch. Give yourself times, because that's how you're going to stay on track. The rest of the time, or the other times in the gym, people are texting, right? They're on their phone. They're either doing work or something. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I teach them like, all right, if you have to do work, if you have to text, or you're trying to respond in this process, this is what we do. We set our timer, we do our work. And then when the timer stops, you take a pause, you do your lift, you go back to it. You kind of,
Right.
you stay on track. And the whole goal is to stay on track so that within 30 minutes, you've got your workout complete, your focus, you got what you needed in, and you get out. The other thing that I teach them to do is like, find quality gyms that work for you and your family. So find a gym that either allows you to bring your kids, or has a nice way for you to incorporate your kids into the gym. I take my kids to the gym with me every Friday and every Saturday.
Nice.
Mondays are a little iffy just because of the timing. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're usually at home, and they'll do like my wife doesn't like the gym, honestly. She's a home workout person, so she finds YouTube videos that she loves to do at home, and she'll do them, and the boys will go downstairs in the basement and do home workout videos with them. She taught them. She's found this great kid yoga program. And so like the boys will go downstairs and turn on the YouTube kid yoga program and do YouTube yoga. When we take them to the gym, they're incorporated in like the different classes. They always want to see where I work out. So I usually, after I'm done, I'll take them upstairs to where the equipment is, and I'll let them kind of play around. Can't really do a whole lot because it is a big gym, but I try to find times when it's not busy so that I can bring them upstairs and be like, this is what Papa does. This is the equipment that you can play on. So they know about like foam rolls, and they know about balance balls, and they know about like functional equipment, ropes, things of that nature. And eventually, yeah, they'll get into like weights and like actual training. They're too young for that now, but they just love going upstairs and seeing they know how to get on a Stairmaster. They know how to get on a treadmill. Obviously, it's very safe when I'm with them. They can't do it without me. So we'll do stuff together so they can see what Papa does, right? But then like in their classes, I found a gym where they allow, like they teach them like yoga, they teach them dance, they teach them movement. And then we put them in movement classes, and we put them in exercise gym fitness like groups for them to understand like, yes, it's important for you as well. And so I think I went off on a tangent there, but
No. I think bringing them to, like, I do most of my work. I'm like your wife. I do most of my workouts at home. I've got lots of equipment at home, but I love going to the gym too. And I think being out, having your kids be able to see you working out, or just kind of the earlier you can kind of get that into their, like into their life. Like this is what we do. We take care of ourselves. We spend time, each week taking care of ourselves. I think that's, really important. Now
Yeah.
you were mentioning there about kind of the program there and kind of how it's set up. One thing I've kind of noticed here, and I really liked how you were kind of talking about how you work with them on their schedule,
Mhm.
kind of their kind of their dream week there, kind of figuring out their schedule. What I've kind of found with clients over the years is like typically when someone starts, the quicker they can complete that first workout,
Mhm.
the more adherence they have to the product. And I don't know if you've maybe seen the same thing. Typically, obviously you're busy. They hired you for a reason there. And so they probably already are super busy. How do you kind of make sure like this plan? So if somebody's going from 0 workouts, all of a sudden now, they've got 4 scheduled. How do you kind of make sure that you're getting them on the calendar and they're getting it done?
Yeah. So what I do is like that first week, I tell them, hey, this is your plan for the week. And actually, usually the first 3 weeks, I actually set up their days. So I'll look at their schedule and I'll set up like you need to work out this day, you need to work out this day, you need to work out this day and this day. And this is the workout you're going to do on this day. It should take you 30 minutes. If it's taking you longer than that, we need to make adjustments. Or if it's taking you shorter than that, we need to make adjustments. And so we'll look at the workouts, look at the days of the week, and then like that first week, I use an app that they'll go through and I can see when they worked out.
Mhm.
Um, and usually, if I know they're starting the first day, the first 3 days or first 2 days, I usually check in with them. How did the workout go today?
Right.
What do you like? What don't you like? Do we need to make adjustments? Do we need to make changes? But I also let them know, like, hey, this first week is just for you to get used to the program. So we're not trying to maximize, we're not trying to outlive. I just want you to get used to the program. So that means lighter weights. That means understanding how to do the movements. That means going through. If you have questions, that's when we're going to like discuss like how to do the workouts, how to do the exercises. And then that next 3 weeks, because there's 4 phases in my program, so every month is a different phase that we go through. um that next 3 weeks is when we just hit it hard, so you understand what you're doing and there's no questions, and then we see the growth in the next 3 weeks, and then the next month we'll start again with the lighter weight, understand what's going on. And the next 3 weeks, again, we jump right back into it and we hit it hard. And so that's how I follow up with them at the end of the week. I'm like, what did you like? What didn't you like? There's a list of, I think, 5 questions that I send out.
Mhm.
Um, and how can I make it better for you next week? What did you like? What were your wins? What do we need to make adjustments with? And they get back to me pretty quick. Most of the time, my clients that I've started out, their first week is like, man, I didn't realize I was just out of shape. You know, realize, um, I didn't realize where I was at. And I've got former athletes, right?
Mhm.
So I have a former Marine, I have a former baseball player, um, I have a marathoner, uh, and I have a businessman, and I actually have a videographer, so someone who just hasn't worked out before, right?
Mhm.
So some of my guys are super skinny and they're just trying to gain weight. Some of my guys are overweight and they're trying to lose weight.
Mhm.
And they're just like that first week, they're just like, I just didn't realize, where I was at. I always said I knew I needed to do something, but I didn't realize it. And then I go through a workout program and I can barely make it through. And I'm like, yeah, so it's we are gonna get you there. And then I get messages now just like, man, I can't believe how much better I feel, how much energy I've got. I never have had this feeling before, even when I was like as an athlete or in the Marines. And you got to think like my Marine guy, I'm like, he had to go through boot camp, and we all saw what happens in boot camp, right?
Right.
So, but still, like he's still like, I just can't believe how much energy, how much I'm loving this workout, how much I'm
Yeah.
loving how much it's helping me stay on task and on target, right? So that's the other thing, is just saying like, if you did not get the workouts in, why didn't you get the workouts in? What was the issue? Let's see if we can make that happen or fix that for next week. Let's talk about that before next week so that you're able to commit and complete all the workouts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, kind of like you said there, like kind of figuring out, looking back, kind of dissecting, what happened. I think a lot of times we're not good at that. Maybe that's just a guy thing where we're not always super self-reflective. But looking back and kind of dissect it, and you can usually tell. There's I'm not sure if you're familiar with Luca Hosever. He's a coach, and he's kind of got this saying like, look at your watch and your wallet. Like
Mhm.
where are you spending your money? Where are you spending your time? And so if you kind of look back at the week and you're like, okay, well, I did this at this time, I spent my money here, that's really telling you where your priorities are. And so if you're
Right.
not getting that workout in, if you committed to it and it didn't happen, well, look back and kind of reflect there, like, well, what kind of happened there? What was going wrong? How can we kind of turn this around for next week?
So one of the things that I actually talk with a lot of my clients about, and I do this because I did travel for a bit, is when we're traveling, I actually have them look ahead of where they're going to be,
Hmm.
where they're going to stay, and what options are available to them. Do they have a gym in their hotel? Are they in Airbnb? Are they on vacation? And then like I actually help them like find local gyms, especially if they have membership somewhere, like a local
Nice.
gym that will accept their membership. There are a lot of places that will give you like a day pass, or if you have a nationwide gym membership, they'll let you go into their gym and work out for whatever. So I teach them how to like do some research ahead of time. It's called, I guess you can call it advanced research, right? So I'm just
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
say, I have a couple of guys who like are the YMCA. Well, if you're a member of the YMCA one place, you're a member all over the country. So
Right.
let's YMCA where you can actually jump in and get a quick workout in. And if you're like on vacation, like even when I go on vacation, like the first thing I do, because my wife sleeps in, so like I'll get up and go at 6:30 or 7 to the gym, get my
Yeah.
work, and then I'm done for the day. And then I can actually enjoy whatever I need to do. Same thing when
Right.
I'm working. I go ahead and get it done early so that I know the rest of the day, or if I know that I'm in a conference, I'm going to be there all day.
Hmm.
Um, I have I got what I needed to get out of it. I'm
Hmm.
also a foodie. I love to eat, and so part of the thing with me working out so consistently is that I like to eat and to maintain um, proper health and just like not blow up. I got to get a workout. I know that I'm gonna have to do that on the vacation. I know that I'm gonna have to do that over the weekend, at least once, right? If I'm not doing it every day, I'm doing it at least one day, maybe 2 days, depending on how long the the vacation or the work trip is. But I help them do that. I help them look at like where they're staying, what their schedule is, how can we get a workout in? If they didn't do it, this is what we need to do next time.
Hmm.
Or I help them like let's front load the week so that you don't have to worry about it on the weekend. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys who like will travel like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday and come home on Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I'm like, if that's the case and you're going to be slam packed because you have this, great conference that you have to be at, let's front load the week. Let's go Monday through Thursday, right? And you get your workouts in. Yeah, you're going back to back, back to back, but then you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to recover, right?
Hmm.
Maybe one of those days you throw in something if you have the time. At least now you know you got your workout in for the week.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, front loading the week, or just like you said, when you're traveling too, at the hotel, front loading your days as well. I like the more I've always like growing up, I was not a morning person. I could,
Still not a morning person.
yeah, I could stay up all night and be fine. But I think having kids, that might force you to be a morning person there. And so I know for me, kind of like you said, if I can get the bulk of my workouts done at earlier in the week, and if I know I can get them done as early as possible during the day, there's a much greater chance it's going to happen. Because if it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, all of a sudden I put in a full day, I've been up since 5:36 in the morning, I'm not really that motivated to work out. And I think that's I know with my clients as well, those who tend to work out a little, not saying all of them, but the
Mhm.
majority of them, if they can get that workout in, typically like before like 3 o'clock during the day, there's a
Mhm.
great, now obviously with work schedules and everything, like it's not always possible. But I mean I've just kind of noticed over the year, like if we can get that in, then it's off your mind. You don't have to think about it, right? It's done. You can focus on the rest of your life. You can go live life. You're
Right.
not stressed out about this workout that may or may not happen.
And I also teach them like, hey, so you're at work. What's your work schedule? What's your lunch schedule? Do you need a full hour to eat? No. So let's split
Right.
that up. 30 minutes of working out and 30 minutes of lunch, or 45 minutes of working out, 40 and 15 minutes of lunch. You don't need a whole lot of time to eat, right? Pack your lunch, you know what you're going to eat, get your workout in, eat your lunch, then go on about your day. And so I've taught a lot of people like that lunchtime workout, like what does that look like for you? And then how can we make that quality for you? Because there are a lot of people who do a lunchtime workout, but their lunchtime workout is like, oh, I'm going to go walk for, you know, 20 minutes around the block, right? Well, that's not really, sometimes that's good for you if you're not doing anything. But for most of the guys, I'm like, you got to do something. Let's make that quality, right? Let's make that a quality workout time. Let's take that 20, 30 minutes that you have and create change, and that's when you can knock that into your day. And then now, again, you're not losing time with your family. So if you know that you got practice from 4 to 8 o'clock, and then you got bedtime, and you got to spend time with the wife, you know, you've already gotten what you, like you said, you've already gotten what you need done for you for the day,
Mhm.
and now you can focus in on everybody else, and then you're a much happier person.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, kind of like you said there. If you have the time to go for a walk and get your workout in, that's great. Like get both in. I try and get a walk in really early in the morning. Kind of I like the way I like to start my day off that way. I know not everybody's schedule. Sometimes it's really cold too. It's not always
Right.
fun. But over lunch, yeah, if you have to choose between the two, you really have to kind of make a decision there. What's going to be more important? And maybe you're able to alternate. Maybe every other day go for a walk, work out. But yeah, I think, just kind of like you said, like if that's the time you can work out and you push that off to not be able to do it, then you're consciously making a decision there to kind of put that on the back burner.
Right, right. And that's also just a way to like teach people about time management, right? So like where are you spending your time? Where are the gaps where like again, you don't need an hour to eat.
Mm.
What are you doing with the other 45 minutes? Because it only really takes you 15 minutes to eat.
Mhm.
And if you're going out and eating every lunchtime, like now your money's going too. So like you're
Right.
spending eating out, you're spending money driving. So that's gas. Gas prices are ridiculous. So now you're looking at like all those little things that go along with like
Mhm.
15 minutes to go get food. You're eating for 15 minutes, 15 minutes back from wherever you're gone. So now there's 45 minutes of your time. 30 minutes of that has been just sitting in the car. Maybe even half an hour, because it takes you 30 minutes to get your food, 15 minutes to get your food, then 15 minutes to eat your food, then 15 minutes to get back home. Right. And so we're teaching like, hey, this is what you can eat. You can make that. How do we make those meals? Because I don't meal prep, right? I'm a dad. I don't. There's a lot of like I would call them like I wouldn't call them non-negotiables, but I'll just call them like life, right? So like I don't have time in the morning. I leave the house. I wake up at 4:30 and I leave the house by 5 every morning, right? So I don't have time to sit down and have a 20-minute breakfast. I need to be out of the house, and I'm not trying to get up at 3 o'clock so I can leave the house by 4, right? So I make time, the night before. Whatever my dinner is, it's going to be my lunch the next day, right? Whatever I'm planning to eat at dinner is usually pretty healthy. And so it transitions into my lunch the next day, and I can stay on that healthy eating pattern. I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat because I'm making it the night before. So it's already set. And I'm doing that every day or on a routine basis. Also, whatever we eat at home, like our kids eat, we don't have separate meals. My wife eats whatever I cook, or she cooks. I eat whatever she cooks.
Mhm.
If I need to make a little bit of an adjustment, I make slight adjustments, but it doesn't take away from the whole meal that we have, because
Right.
she gets kind of mad when I don't eat the food that she. And I can understand that she spent a lot of time doing that. So I want to make sure that I get what I need, but we also give her the quality time that she needs, as far as like, and the respect that she needs for making the food. And we talk about like our meals, and we talk about what we're going to eat for the next day, and how that's going to translate for her, how that's translating for me, how that's translating for the boys as well. So they eat what we eat. We don't make separate meals for them.
Right.
They don't get, they with Grammy, they'll probably get a little bit more unhealthy things, but it's counterbalanced.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Plan it, kind of everything you said there, planning your workouts ahead of time, planning your meals. If you can, um, just kind of like what you said there, if you can plan the night before by, having your lunch already, right? That's one less thing you have to do, right? And we're getting our workout early in the morning or as early as possible. You already have your lunch. That it's just taken away a lot of the unknowns there. And
And that's
exactly.
why people like freeze because like feel like they have so much that they have to do because they're thinking about, well, I have to do this. I didn't do it last night. Preparation, priorities, being ready for the next day. That's
Right.
a lot that you're teaching as well. And that's a lot of what I'm teaching. Like, are you prepping for the next day? Are you preparing yourself? I had a client the other night who texted me, I think at 10:30, he's like, I'm having oatmeal and eggs. And he's like, and he said, this is where I'm at right now. And I'm like, hey, that's okay. You having oatmeal and eggs. You're not having Chipotle. You're not having McDonald's. So I'll take oatmeal and eggs at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock after baseball practice over Chick-fil-A or over McDonald's or whatever every night, right? In any night. And he even was like, man, I had too much sushi. And I was like, well, let's talk about that, right? Sushi's great. Let's figure out how much you had and how that's going to work into your meal plan, right? The next day or even that night. So it's just all about teaching and educating. And that's what they hired me for, right? They hired me to help them get to where they need to go and
Right.
understand there.
Right. Yeah. Just making choices there. Just which decision's going to kind of bring you closer to where you want to be there.
Right, right.
But,
Making good decisions. There was one guy who he was having snacks and he'd be doing really good. Like I could see his meals, and then he would like a cheeseburger from McDonald's or like a chicken sandwich from McDonald's or something that would just like blow up the whole meal for the day. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Like you're doing good. You're on track. And I don't have people count macros or count because I don't like to do it. I don't have the time to like sit there and measure out food. Like I never have. I've done 2 physique shows, work out every day. I did well in all my physique shows and I've never counted calories. I've never counted macros. I literally just watch what I eat and I look at like, all right, I'm not going to overeat and I'm not going to throw in an extra like cheeseburger. I'm just going to, this is what I need to eat. This is how I need to eat. This is the amount I need to eat. And I mean, I think a lot of my health and education background plays a part in that. But also just looking at like what's like just be smart. Like you don't need 3 plates of chicken. 1 plate is enough, right? Or breakfast, or even just intermittent fasting. I worked where like I basically drive from place to place. So I don't have a microwave that's sitting there waiting for me to like warm up my food. So what do? I typically will warm it up in the morning, put it in like a little vacuum seal clean container that keeps it as warm as possible. If it's freezing, it's never really freezing, but it's never always hot, right? And again, I look at food as fuel. Even though I'm a foodie and I love to eat and I like good food, I also recognize that food is fuel and it's for my body, not necessarily for my entertainment. And we look at food as a society as entertainment. Like if you look at what do we gather around anytime that we're together, it's food. Like whether we're going out to eat, whether we're having family gatherings, whether we're having people over, whatever it may be, it's always centered around what are we eating, where are we going, we're hanging out, what's on the table for us to munch on. And I was working with and talking with another fitness guy, and the thing he had mentioned something that was like, it wasn't really mind blowing, but you never really think about it. There's a lot of times when people eat, and they eat because they're bored, not because they're hungry.
Right.
And so the question became like, why are you eating? Are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because you're bored?
Right.
And if you're bored, is it because you need to find something entertaining for you? Right? What is that entertaining thing that can take the position of the food so that you're not munching on food, but you're actually entertaining yourself?
Right.
That was like a mind like, oh, wow, that's a good one right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of times we are, we're driving while we're eating. We're always doing something while we're eating. So sometimes, we just kind of get in that habit of always having food with us. But well, I appreciate you sharing about your program there. I think there's a lot of things there that you can kind of implement right away, attacking kind of your schedule there, making sure, your priorities are aligned, and then really just, kind of just making better choices there, just kind of in figuring out how can you get your family involved too. The one thing my clients always say is, they don't want to make separate foods for their family, right? They don't want to be eating separate things and stuff. And so I think, all those things that you shared with us are extremely valuable. Now, I want to make sure everybody kind of knows where they can find you. So if you have, Instagram, Facebook, or anything, Facebook group, website, where can we kind of find you online?
Yeah, so I do a lot, or if not most of my social media on Facebook. So you can find me under Anthony Aldridge that underscore 31.
Okay.
Because 31. You can find me on Instagram, same thing, Anthony underscore Aldridge 31.
Okay.
And then in my Facebook, I have a couple of groups. The first one that I want to mention is Find Your Fit. It's a simple Find Your Fit group that I have everybody come to. I usually post once or twice a week, just different recipes, healthy recipes that I found. Usually I find them and I'll just pass them along to like everyone who's asking. I'll put up different posts. I'll do different like tips that I talk about, whether it be like packing a bag for the gym or fixing your schedule, like 60-minute or 60-second like little tips for you to help you just understand things as simple as like understanding your insurance, and does your insurance for your gym, right? I found out that my gym is covered under my insurance, and so my cost actually of my gym membership went down by 50% because I started my insurance. A lot of people don't really actually realize that or even know that. So we talk about stuff like that. So you can find me under, like I said, social media would be Facebook, Anthony underscore Aldridge 31. Instagram are usually my only two big ones. Anthony underscore Aldridge at 31.
Okay, awesome. I will get those links and I will put those in the show notes, so everybody can kind of reach out to you.
Yeah.
I appreciate. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, if anyone wants any questions or want to just kind of find some more information, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, I'm a wealth of knowledge. I want to make sure that you get what you need out of the program, but also I want to be here to help you be successful in your journey, whatever that may be.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for sharing everything with us, and we'll have to have you on again sometime.
Love that. Thanks so much. Appreciate all the time too.
That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.